Alright, let's start with the thumb stuff mentioned. So, watch how my thumb looks here. So you see how it's flat, straight. It's like, think of it as a thumbs up. That's the thumb position you want when you're starting here. And then have the pick flat against the string, and then bend it to push it down through the string, and then make a thumbs up to come back up, bend it down to go down. So your index finger is moving along with it. I feel that it's the thumb that's really pushing it back and forth. Your index finger is more basically going along for the ride. So if you take a few minutes, a few minutes a day, just try and get used to that motion there, that's going to pay off in the long run for all the small articulation type things. Things like that. So avoid having your thumb bent like this when you're doing the trem picking stuff. Try and keep it flat. So that's another thing. Besides your thumb on your left hand being in the right spot, you got to make sure that your thumb on the right hand is in a better position. So I am not a fan of people picking this way because it takes away the ability to do the thumb picking stuff. Metronome. So whatever metronome you go with, just make sure it can definitely go much faster than you'll ever need it to. So definitely past 200, at least 300 beats a minute it should go. Because when you do metronome work, if you're not pushing yourself as hard as you possibly can, you're missing out on really good benefits here. So this week, make sure that you push yourself as hard as you can, as fast as you can with all these exercises, so you can grow as fast as possible. Because you may have had good success and you feel like you're playing better only going up to 160 with the alternate picking from last time, but you're gonna have even more benefits going past that. So just like weight training, you gotta push it hard in order to stimulate that growth. So was there something else? I thought there was something else I wanted to say. Can't think of it right now. So here we go with first exercise. So here's what it's just sounding like at 60. And then double that. And then here it is at 160, the pace that you can do. $180. That's a fairly average fast picking pace for majority of guitar players out there. So that's like your average fast picking. So 200 would be above, a little bit above average. And then 220, and I'll stop after that. Okay, so number 2, going back to the 8th notes. Oh, I just remembered the scale stuff. So yeah, if you have your C Ionian memorized, just do it a few times. Like 3 times. Whoops. And then move on to the D Dorian. And so on. So, play each one that you have memorized like 3 times, part of your warming up before doing any metronome stuff. so this way you don't forget it, and just add another scale when you feel you have whatever you like. If you have the 3 scales memorized, then you can start working on the 4th one. But again, until you have whatever scales you're working on 100% memorized, do not add another one, because that's just adding too much work too soon. Have at least one memorized 100% before you move on to the second one. And when I say 100%, it just means, I mean, you can make a mistake here and there. That's not a big deal. I just did it, and I've played that scale I don't know how many times, but I don't need to look at the page in order to play it. So that's the thing. If you can play it from memory, then you're good, and then you can add the next one. So anyway, on to number 2 for the exercises. So 8th notes. So make sure with this one, I just realized that if I remember correctly, you were doing some accidental economy picking. So with this, there might be an issue. We'll have to see how you perform it next week. Hopefully it's done correct. But make sure that everything is down, up, down, up. So when you switch strings, you're going to be hitting it with an upstroke. So remember, every time you switch a string on this, you'll be switching to an upstroke. Down, up, down, up. And then, so down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Every time you switch a string on this, it will be on an upstroke. So that could be problematic. Hopefully it will not be. Alright, so here it is, double speed, 120. And then double that, which is your goal speed to reach, 240 with 8th notes. And number 3, so basically triplets going on here. So playing these at an even pace, that's gets challenging for most people after a certain tempo, because the tendency is to just throw your fingers down, and it's usually you have to play it a bit slower than you think in order to space things out properly. So here it is, exercise number 3 at 60 beats a minute. Double time. And double that. So yes, a goal of 240 beats per minute with 8th note triplets. That's a thing. I don't expect you to get it done within a week, but eventually we want you playing at least this fast so you can work on 16th note triplets instead eventually. So 240. And there we go. So I believe that covers everything. Any questions, you let me know. I'll probably see you on Facebook Messenger.